Hello everybody, today I'm going to pick random books from my bookshelf and read excerpts from them. So to start, let's go with Lautréamont, or Ducasse as he is more legally known as, and La Chance de Maldoror. It's one of my favorite books of all time. It inspired quite a long short story of mine, more of a prose poem, called Golem, which is going to be out in my first publication coming soon. Let's read a page. From the shore I apostrophized them and flung curses and threats at them. It seemed to me that they must have heard me. It seemed to me that my hate and my words, covering the distance, violating the laws of acoustics, must have arrived distinctly to their ears, already deafened by the roar of the enraged sea. It seems to me that they must have thought of me and breathed forth their vengeance and impotent rage. Maldoror for you. Let's do this one. This is Epic Form Content History by Frederick Turner. It's a book discussing all of the historical epic traditions that have arisen around the planet, and talks about Frederick Turner's personal experience with writing epic poetry. He's a lesser-known epic poet, an American epic poet who wrote 2 epic poems, both science fiction, and they're pretty interesting. They work with humility, and they work with beauty very, very eloquently. So let's go to random page. What epics do, then, when they come to the building of the city, is create what Francis Yates calls a memory theater. A memory theater is a mnemonic system for mapping out our narrative memory talent onto our spatial memory talent, and using the mutually correcting result as a grid to remember the logical relations of an argument, and the correct rhetorical sequence by which that argument can be used to convince. The best place name evokes the story of its role in an epic and the moral and political meaning of that story. It's just an excerpt. When I first opened this book, it made me want to start an epic, which is one of my larger goals as an artist, honestly. I really enjoy long-form poetry. Recently, I've been getting into writing in the poetic form, and then taking the line breaks and moving them into prose, because I believe poetic prose is stronger than prosaic poetry, and I have a collection of short stories coming out, and so I took a lot of my poems and turned them into long poems and turned them into prosaic works, and I find that meaningful in my own personal way. And all right, let's go with Finnegan's Wake. All right. The grocer's bawd, she slips her hand in the haricot bag. The lady-in-waiting sips her sup from the paraffin can. Mrs. Wildhair, quick doctor, helter skelts up the causeway. The flashed instinct she herds of a tinkle of thunder. The widow McGrivey, she knits cat's cradles. This bountiful actress leashes a harrier under her tongue. And here's the girl who she's kneeled in cold fashion, and she's told her priest, spit. She's pot on a chap, chip. And this last, not least, the Rickesemy woman, who she writes foot fortunes money times over in the nursery dust with her capital thumb. Buzz, all runaway sheep bound back Bo Peep, trailing their teens behind them. And they win, in these ways wind they, in those ways went they. Winnie, Olive, and Beatrice, Nellie and Ida, Amy and Rue, here they come back, all the gay pack, for they are the florals, from Fawncy and Pansy to Papavere's blush. Forsake me not, while there's a leaf there's hope. With Primtim's ruse and Merryways blossom, all the flowers of the Ancelles' garden. It's Finnegan's Wake for you. It's a bit of a hoot. I think that's all you can really say about Finnegan's Wake, honestly. Let's go with William Blake. I'll do this is one of my favorite covers of all time. This was painted by William Blake. I'm on page 436. I've been skipping around because I like his longer poetry better. But here is a passage from Vala, or the Four Zoas. And Losin and Nithamarn, builded Jerusalem, weeping over the sepulchre and over the crucified body, which to their phantom eyes appeared still in the sepulchre. But Jesus stood beside them in the spirit, separating their spirit from their body, terrified at non-existence, for such they deemed the death of the body. Lo, his vegetable hands, outstretched his right hand, branching out in fibrous strength, seized the sun. His left hand, like dark roots, covered the moon and tore them down, cracking the heavens across. From immense to immense, then fell the fires of eternity with loud and shrill sound of loud trumpet thundering along from heaven to heaven. A mighty sound articulate, awake, ye dead, and come to judgment from the four winds, awake and come away. It's pretty powerful stuff, honestly. Let's talk about this for a second, because this man was a painter and a poet, and he works a lot with grammatical experimentation, and a lot of what he does is breaking down the structures of grammar to compel a more compel a strengthened punch with his not spiritual aggression, but like spiritual like harmonic diffidence against any sort of heavenly coherence, and he shatters all order within the creative spiritual context, and ridicules all who abide by singularity in religion. And it's a good conceptual framework for anybody who is working with deep violent poetry while also maintaining a say glory of the sublime. So next we have The Interpretation of Cultures by Clifford Geertz. Geertz is somebody I highly respect as an anthropologist, despite his seemingly commercial little blurb up here, calling him as an anthropologist, philosopher, political scientist, literary critic, and all-around all-star intellectual, Clifford Geertz helped a vast public make sense of the human condition. That's a really weak thing to put on the front of a book in terms of the scholarly attributes of this text, but we'll see. One of the ideas it gave me, well, I'll read something first and then I'll tell you. I'll read from a highlighted portion, because our ideas, our values, our acts, even our emotions are, like our nervous system itself, cultural products manufactured, indeed out of tendencies, capacities, and dispositions with which we were born, but manufactured nonetheless. Chartres is made of stone and glass, but it is not just stone and glass, it is a cathedral, and not only a cathedral, but a particular cathedral built at a particular time by certain members of a particular society. To understand what it means, to perceive it for what it is, you need to know rather more than the generic properties of stone and glass, and rather more than what is common to all cathedrals. You need to understand also, and in my opinion, most critically, the specific concepts of the relations among God, man, and architecture, that they have governed its creation, it consequently embodies. It is no different with men. They too, every last one of them, are cultural artifacts. So I'm not going to ramble about that, but I think that's a really good way of synthesizing how we more ineptly specialize our knowledge, and how a abstraction from many disparate parts can cohere in an surreal kind of generalization of knowledge rather than a cursory detail. We want a overarching narrative. So I like that. And the last one we'll do today will be let's go with the Pound Era. This is a really grammatically interesting book by Hugh Kenner. It is a critical analysis of modernism as seen by Ezra Pound, and Hugh Kenner was a student of Ezra Pound and a good friend of him, I believe. And let's just get started. It was to give his race superior stories that W.B. Yeats thought with passionate intensity on Dr. Muid and Grania, Cuchulainn and Emer, and wrote plays which require the spectator to feel as if he knew, in the way Aeschylus's audience knew that Atriid genealogies, stories that in the cold street he did not in fact know at all. He and Joyce both took seriously the epigram of another Dubliner, that life imitates art. The Irish Ministry of Agriculture understood how the art on the coins men glance at daily may permeate life, when they required the design for the bull on the Republic's new 1 shilling piece to be altered because it might have upset, considered as an ideal, the eugenics of the farmyard. The new bull, Yeats wrote as chairman of the Coinage Commission, was fortunately as fine, in a different way. I sigh, however, over the pig, though I admit that the state of the market for pigs' cheeks made the old design impossible. It's just a really comprehensive book about all the members of modernism and how they interrelate and intercorrelate. Yeah, so that's it for this video. I'm probably gonna do more of these. Thanks.